Operation Intercept was a joint operation between the Riverside DA's office, Bureau of Investigation, and the Riverside Sheriff's Department Anti-Human Trafficking Task Force.
We had undercover operatives or deputies investigators that were posing as minor children online and were contacted by adults for sexual relationships with minor children.
It was a month-long investigation resulting in 25 arrests, 25 predators that were targeting our children are now off the street. Big win for the people of Riverside County.
It's very important that we take a proactive stance and a proactive approach in these types of investigations, because with social media, with all of our kids having phones for what we believe are safety purposes so we can keep track of our kids, it's also a tool for these predators to contact our kids and victimize them.
When it comes to harming children, we're going to stop it.
The idea of Operation Intercept was bringing current an old investigation that we did in 2006. It was a televised investigation, Datelines to Catch a Predator.
Tonight, an all-new Dateline investigation, To Catch a Predator 3.
Unlike our previous investigations, this time detectives from the Riverside County Sheriff's Department are waiting outside.
We had investigators that arrested 51 men who had come to Riverside County to have sexual relationships with minors. And this was the 15-year anniversary, and I thought that it would be a great operation if we could somehow do that again or mimic that again to see if we've been making any progress or to see if we still had those type of issues and challenges with protecting our kids that we had back then.
The number of men is so high, it surprises everyone, even the lead investigator, Sergeant Chad Bianco.
I did not expect this many people, this many suspects arriving at the house. He's actually going towards Schleisman now on Riverbend. My worst fears came true when I realized that this is still a major deal. So it was very important for me to involve the DA's office and their investigations team.
What goes into those arrests are many, many hours of being online, posing basically undercover.
It was very apparent that we had to have more involvement with the attorneys, more involvement with personnel.
You know, these investigators are highly trained and they were online and being approached by individuals who wanted to prey upon them.
I know they also have equipment over there that we could utilize that would make it easier and more efficient for us to do that.
I think that the collaboration between the two largest county agencies has never been better.
It was almost a no-brainer that the two agencies should be working together for this.
I'll tell you who the winners are in all this. It wasn't the DA's office, it wasn't the Sheriff's Department, it was the people of Riverside County.
So the apps and the chat rooms that we use are all available on your smartphone device, right? I don't have any secret chat rooms that I go to. Everything that I have access to, your kid has access to.
I can tell you from looking through these applications, it's a very, very dark place. There is a lot of opportunity, or I should say, there are a lot of groups looking for teens, seeking out teens to join their group, and it's very explicit that it's for sexual purposes.
If you can think of a online social media platform or chat platform, or even a game that allows users to talk to each other, that is where these predators are seeking out your children.
Operation Intercept, for me, was a completely different experience. So, first of all, I've only been in law enforcement for 2.5 years. So I'm in my mid-40s. This is a complete change of career for me, and completely different, having to look at child exploitation, to look at the exploitation of children on the internet and on social media. It was very enlightening for me. I saw a whole new side of these apps and social media that I have never seen before.
The way we kind of do our online undercover investigation, we will go onto a social media or an online posting community, and we will post on there that we are a 12-year-old child. And then that would be it. I don't say anything else. We don't interact with anyone unless they reach out to us. We want to make it as difficult for them to find us as possible. So there is no misunderstanding that they are actively seeking out children.
One thing that I found early on, and I think this is probably one of the shocking things for me, is there are messages immediately. More often than not, the first message was sexual. It was just incredible to me that because of the anonymity of the platform, that they felt that they could say the most disgusting things to even an adult woman right off the bat, just right off the bat.
They drive the conversation 100%. And that's evident in our work that we do, right? Because once we make the arrest, we have to produce all the evidence. And all the evidence are all our chats. If that's a week-long worth of chats, that could be 40 or 50 pages that we produce. And the evidence of how the conversation unfolded is all there for anyone to read.
Over this month, the first week that we started the operation, I was on fire, gung-ho. We're gonna get these guys, I can't wait, setting up profiles and setting up phones and planning everything out, and I was just like, let's do this, psyched, super excited to get this operation underway. By the second week, at this point, again, I'm not having these conversations, but I am in an office with 6 other people, and I'm hearing about the conversations that they're having and how things are going. And I'm hearing, they'll hold the phone and read me the actual conversation that they're having.
Dude, this guy's asking, what the frick? Okay, I'll read this text word for word. Is your friend, whose mom is dropping you off at the mall, going to be joining us in my car for eating and an introduction to me and my very nice big white?
So by the second week, I think I had gotten kind of depressed, because it starts hitting you, again, what our kids are going through right now. And so that week was tough. It was super low. I didn't want to hear any more conversations. I didn't want to hear anything else that these guys were saying to kids. By the third week, I was angry. I was very, very angry. I was very angry.
I would get hundreds of messages a day. Depending on, whether you continue to talk to them or not, maybe the messages were less, but the men that you were going to meet, they would talk to you from the time they woke up until the time they went to bed. They still talked to you while they were working. They would send pictures of them from their jobs. It was like a constant communication within the day of just going back and forth. Some of it's natural conversation, what are you doing? What kind of music do you like? But for the most part, it would all lead back to a sexual conversation.
So the first day, it was specifically just talking, getting to know me. It became almost like a relationship. I started asking about my life, what I wanted to do every day, and then the second day became a little bit sexual, and that's when he exchanged phone numbers rather than being on the application. Then he started talking about meeting up and how we would even arrange that. And the meetup ended up to be at a park where he said he could meet me there.
Per text, he said he's getting ready.
During the texting, he was talking about those Amazon leggings and how good I would look in them, and he asked even the size I wore, and he brought me a pair of those. And he also brought me a pair of underwear with a hole in them, and he mentioned the specific things he would do with me wearing those.
Oh, he's calling me. Hello?
Hey, baby.
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing good. You?
Good. I had met a male that was from Southern California. Within the first 9 minutes, he agreed to hook up with me and have sex. I had already told him that I was 13 going on 14. And he quickly told me he was 39 years old. And he just kept telling me very descriptively all the sexual things that he was going to do to me.
I'm like 8 minutes away.
Okay, well, we'll just wait inside for you.
Hi, baby. I love you.
He actually said on multiple occasions, I can't believe that I have a hot 13-year-old girlfriend. And then he would ask me, do you think it's sexy that you have a 39-year-old boyfriend? He showed that his want for sex was greater than his ability to apply common sense.
He was very quick to tell me that I should be careful on these apps. You know, you're only 13. But then also he got into, have you ever been to a hotel before? I'm like, no, I'm only 13. And then, you know, he went right into talking inappropriately. Oh, this is what would happen if you went into a hotel with somebody. And then he started sending me inappropriate pictures. And then by the end of that conversation at night, he asked me maybe we could meet up.
I had started talking to him like on a Monday. And I was having a hard time IDing him, but I was continuing to talk to him, and he was expressing this interest that he wanted me to be his girlfriend. He knew I was 12 years old. He started expressing this interest that he wanted to meet up and have sex with me. So I sent a message out to everyone on the team that said, hey, I'm scheduled to meet this guy in the Coachella Valley, who's available? And I sent a picture out, and my partner immediately jumped on and said, hey, I'm also talking to that guy. So we made the decision, we talked to him through the weekend, and whoever he came and met up with, that's just who it would be. So over the weekend I was talking to him, and he sent me this message that said that he had found a new girlfriend that he had fell in love with, and he was no longer interested in talking with me, and for me to please stop communicating with him. So the girlfriend that he had found, that he had fallen in love with, was our undercover investigator out here in the West End that he had been talking to while he was talking to me.
Once you agree on meeting, some are very cautious as to, they kind of give you indicators that they know what they're doing is wrong. For instance, I had one male who told me there are sting operations out there to catch people meeting with underage, and that there was no way he was going to be caught. He would also ask me to leave my phone at home when I met him, and oftentimes these men actually tell you that you have to keep them safe. So those are all indicators that they clearly know what they're doing is wrong.
Did you catch the guy who said he wasn't going to get caught?
Yes, we caught him.
The hard thing is you never know what's going to take place. You never know how this person's going to arrive or what vehicle they're going to be in.
They're not back out.
Yeah, he's getting scared. But the good thing about this case is I already knew where he lived, possibly, or where he was coming from. He's either going to pass them or he's going to go like through some side streets. So if he passes them, I'll just have him take him down right there, and then the other units this way. The undercovers that came from his home followed him all the way to the location where they did a traffic stop on him and placed him under arrest. There they go. And he just texted he's here at the park. So after the traffic stop, I got out of my car and then I spoke with him. I interviewed him. He tried to say he was just gonna go to the movies, take her on a date, and eventually he ended up admitting why he came. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, but we never had sex.
Parents are assuming you having sex, because look what's on the phone. The items that he said he would bring were in his car.
We had undercovers in the area. We put them, in vehicles. We had someone inside the fast food chain, and when he arrived to the meeting location, he did call me.
Hey, you.
Hi, baby.
Hey, I'm here.
Okay, we're almost done. We'll just come out.
Okay, I'll stand inside the car so you can see me, okay?
Okay, sounds good.
Hi, baby. I can't wait to see you guys.
Of course, I'm not going to come out, but he is met with law enforcement. He's taken down in a felony manner, and placed in handcuffs.
Stop it. I promise I didn't do nothing. I didn't do nothing.
And so we go through a process of just interviewing right then and there.
How did she tell you she was?
She said she was 13, but I wasn't gonna do nothing.
Right.
I swear.
Got you.
I myself arrived on scene first, and I happened to see him sitting on the left side of the road in his car with the window down on his cell phone. I notified the team that he was on scene, and at that time, my team was doing another case at another location.
Liam, do you think she needs a body or two as well? Hey, I just got off the phone with Vanessa. She's gonna go get eyes on the suspect, and then we can grab that guy up.
And then during the interview, he was one of those guys that said he was showing up to tell me that I needed to get off these dating apps, get off these social media apps because they're dangerous. He had no intention of ever doing anything with me. And it was just one of those things, well, why didn't you just text her because you were already talking to her that, hey, you need to get off this app or I'm gonna report you. And you know, he just stood his ground and said, no, I was just gonna tell her that she needs to get off these apps.
A couple of days later, he schedules this meet, and he shows up in the city of Riverside. I think it was like 9 or 10 o'clock at night, and he drove all the way here from his work in the high desert, all the way out to Van Buren in the 215 to meet this girl. And we take him into custody. And as I was patting him down, I find out that he's wearing a GPS ankle monitoring bracelet, which immediately means he's on parole. We run his name and we find out that he is already a registered sex offender. So during the interview, he reassured us that he was not there to meet with a kid, despite the text messages that said to meet at that exact location at that time. He just was really interested in that fast food establishment. And so he drove all the way from the high desert to Riverside to eat at this fast food place, and then he was driving to Fontana to go meet with his friend. Needless to say, that story doesn't work out so much, especially considering the text messages that he sent, and he's already a registered sex offender for sexually assaulting minor children. And they honestly, I believe that they will say anything they can to minimize their level of involvement, but in reality, they showed up to meet a child for sex, and fortunately, it was my team that was there and not a child.
What they're doing to children on social media, the conversations that they're having, kids can't go back from that. There's no taking that back. There's no putting the toothpaste back in the tube.
When you're going through it as an adult, you think it's no big deal, right? Because you're just looking at it from the view of myself. Like, I know I don't have to provide photos. I know I'm not going to provide those, so it's no pressure to me. But then if you put yourself in the mindset of that 13-year-old and really understanding, if I was a 13-year-old and I was using that app, what pressure I would feel to feel accepted. You know you're gonna meet an adult male and instantly they start sending you photos of their genitalia and telling you how beautiful you are. And so they're kind of already setting you up and grooming you to feel loved and to feel wanted.
Those of us that are parents, we will go home, we tuck our kids into bed, we lock the doors, we lock the windows, maybe you have an alarm set on your window, and then we give our kids a phone, a tablet, a computer, a laptop, smartwatch, whatever it is. And then we go our own way, and our kid is either in the room, in the living room, maybe they're sitting right next to us, and they have unlimited access to everyone in the world. Why do we lock our doors?
I think about these young girls who, again, are hearing these things from adult men, and this is framing what they can expect, I think, from relationships, what they expect from men in general, what they think men expect from them in order to make them happy, or in order for the girls to feel loved or taken care of. They're being brainwashed into what it means to be a woman when they grow up and what they can expect from their relationships when they grow up. And that's painful for me.
The one thing that government has to do and must do and do it well is to protect the public safety, and especially when it comes to our children.
Let everyone know we are actively looking for you if you are trying to prey on our kids, and we will find you.